Today is Veterans Day, November 11th, 2020, and this is my story about one of my many friends that I have known during my time in uniform. I want to talk a little bit about Colonel Randal Schwallie. Randy and I got to know each other back in the early 90s. This was after the Gulf War was over. I was serving as a medical recruiter for the Army Reserve in Orlando, Florida. And Randy was the commander of medevac detachment down in southern Florida. And the way that we got connected is he had a few warrant officers that wanted to become commissioned officers. And there was a process and a program available for medical aviators to go through that process. But in order to do it, they had to go through their local medical recruiter, who was me. So I went down there and met with the officers involved, and of course one of them was Randal Schwallie. And we struck up a friendship during that process. We had some other assignments in between, and then a few years later I was finishing up my 20-year career, and I was out at Triple Army Medical Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, and Randy was coming in to be my replacement. We had a bunch of things that were pretty critical that he'd have to step right into, and so we got an exception to policy to have him spend a few months overlap with me. And again, our friendship between Randy and myself grew, and as well as between our families. I retired after that. Randy was able to stay in, and we maintained a friendship, kind of kept in touch with each other through the years. 11 years later, Randy was actually assigned to Fort Knox, to the Army Reserve Aviation Command, and he had been selected to be the task force commander for a element of Army Reserve Aviation that would be on call to respond within 24 hours to any emergency anywhere in the United States that the nation needed us. And so Randy was in that position, and he contacted me and asked me if I would be open to returning to active duty for 2 years. And I said yes. I was in a situation where it made sense for me to do that, and I always loved it when I was in uniform. If I'd be able to, I'd be in uniform today. But that's it's not for old men like me anymore. Anyway, Randy brought me back onto active duty. We were no longer peers. He had outranked me, so I think that he may have had a little bit of a challenge with me calling him sir. But we made things happen very well during those 2 years that I was in that assignment. Randy then retired and went on to other things in retirement, and I just remember the time the tornado came through Fort Knox, and I was staying in an apartment off base with a couple of other officers, and Randy wanted to insist that come on over and hang out in the basement of the nice old quarters that he had on base. And you know, that was it was a little bit scary, I guess, but it was a good time to hang out there with him. I remember the exercises that we participated in, flying all over the place, the difficult times, and trying to get all of the details worked out for the missions that we had. But I want to thank Randal Schwallie, because he made it happen. He had the vision, and he saw something in me that he wanted to be a part of his team. So Colonel Randal Schwallie, I salute you, sir, and I hope to hear a story from you, and you know, maybe some of the other guys that were in Aviation Task Force. Happy Veterans Day.